What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Steel City Live here on Mike Drop Sports. As always, make sure you're hitting the shit out of that like button as we dive into our daily live show. If you're not watching it now, you can watch it later. And of course, we're going to talk Pittsburgh Steelers football, NFL football, and anything in between as we continue to push through this week and head toward preseason game 3. What's up, George? We are diving in here again. Preseason game 3. A lot of storylines headed into that game for a preseason game anyway, which is something you're probably not really wanting to see. Storylines heading into week 3 of the preseason. You're not wanting to see any of the negative things. Alex Boone, a former NFL offensive lineman, and his podcast gave up a little bit of a harsh criticism for one Arthur Smith. So we're going to talk about that also. So, crazy shit going on inside of the NFL and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to talk also about maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers spending a little bit too much time on the Brandon Ayuk saga. Did that hurt them in the long term here this offseason in terms of maybe gaining some other players? All that kind of stuff. Also, will the Steelers continue to search for somebody else out there within the wide receiver market? You hear all these weird rumors of Devontae Adams. You know, he could be a guy before the trade deadline. You never know what could happen here, but as we continue to talk, I'm sure you guys heard some rumors too. So we'll dive into all that. Tyrone, George, what's up? Tyrone says, see how the Eagles got the receiver Steelers needed from the Commanders. Yeah, have the Steelers, that brings up something. And what's up, Danny George? That brings up what I'm kind of diving into here a little bit, and that's that did the Steelers spend too much time on the Brandon Ayuk deal here? And with nothing materializing for the Steelers, and they still have some available cap room, they still have the ability to do some things. You will get to see, here's something though also. Yes, the Steelers have spent an immense amount of time with the Brandon Ayuk situation. They've really went in hard there trying to get that player. But you look now at the Steelers as they face preseason game 3. My theory is now here at preseason game 3, they are going to allow this team, this 90-man roster, to head into that game. They're going to go out there. They're going to show what they got. This is the last audition. And then after that, there is a 2-week gap in between that and the start of the regular season for the Steelers as they go down to Atlanta to face the Atlanta Falcons. I think that 2-week period will be a very busy time for the Pittsburgh Steelers in my eyes. I think that there will be contract stuff done, all that kind of stuff. I do think if there's any type of trade, I think that will happen then. That's just when I think all this goes on. What's up, Brent? Tyrone, that's who I was talking about last week. Yeah, it's just crazy, though, if the Steelers have spent too much time there. You know what I mean? You just wonder, man. Have they spent too much time there? Did they wear themselves out to where they're not going to get any type of good deals anywhere else, man? They're the ship has sailed. I don't think that's the case, but I do think that they've spent an exuberant amount of time on it. I think they've put far too much energy into that trade, and I think it's starting to backfire a little bit. But I think this 2-week gap here, I think they're going to be able to maybe hopefully catch back up a little bit. Now, because the preseason will be basically over in terms of games and all that kind of wacky shit going on, in terms of the schedule, to where they can really get down to the nuts and bolts of solidifying the roster and looking outside of the organization for any type of real, possible acquisition. We'll see what happens, but I think that they will have time to get it done. Okay, good for you. Hold on, guys. I got to put my shit on Do Not Disturb. I keep getting texts and stuff, and I know it's going to freeze, so I don't want to have that going on. We got a troll, and he can't stop. Good for you, my friend. But anyway, guys, anything you want to talk about, make sure you put your comments, questions, and concerns inside of the chat as we continue through the show. We'll dive into all the chat questions and also hit that like button as we move forward. It really helps spread the channel and spread the show out a little bit through the algorithm. So who's left for trade? That's a big question, Do the Steelers go after that Texans wide receiver, Mechie? I never can say his name correctly. Would they go down there? Do they explore maybe a bigger name like a Devontae Adams, somebody like that? You just don't know, and that's the thing, because the Steelers have put so much energy into that Ayuk shit. You don't know. I don't think it would be like a CD Lamb. I don't think that would be a possibility. You've heard that rumor floated out of there. The one that I could see, honestly, still being maybe a possibility, and I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, would be maybe like the Metcalf shit. Maybe that works. I don't know. I don't know where they would turn, man. And there are still possibilities out there, but there's not a crazy amount. You're going to see these cut downs. Now that the preseason is set up the way it is, you're going to go from 90 to 53 real quick. So there's going to be some people out there on the market. But do you want other people's garbage? Do you want other people's baggage? Do you want other people's leftovers that they're not interested in? I just don't think that's the correct path to follow. I mean, I guess you could use that as to fill some holes in desperation that you need to fill. But I'm not looking for that kind of shit. I'm not looking for trash heap type players. I know it. The Steelers have this weird thinking all the time that they can fix everybody, that they can bring anybody in, and every project can be completed inside of the Pittsburgh Steelers building, man, just because they are the Steelers. And I think that's one thing that I think they have mistaken. I do. And you can't always get project pieces and feel like you can bring their career back to life or jumpstart their career that has never really truly began. Brent, it's okay. Once the Jets get 2-6, they're going to start giving players away. Keep your cap till then. I don't want leftover players, man. I don't. I just don't. Now, there's some out there that may be okay that are cap casualty type players. But those types of players that are usually good players, that are cap casualty type players, they're released far ahead of time because they're usually good enough players that the franchise is like giving them a chance to go out there and explore what they could do, and they attempt to trade them beforehand. So, those types of players, they're in a different ball game, a different situation. Roberta Campbell, I think Brandon just used the Steelers for leverage for the Niners. I don't think that to be the case. I do think it's part of it, but I don't think it's the whole thing, Roberta. I think that he did use some of it I think he used all the teams involved as leverage because, of course, he had to go out there and set his market. He had to go out there and figure out what other teams were willing to offer in order to be able to pin the 49ers up against the wall and tell them, like, look, these teams are willing to pay me this. So, yes, that's part of it. But I think Brandon Ayuk had real interest in becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think he had real interest in actually playing with Washington, even with Jaden Daniels, I think he had real interest, but I just don't think that he went out there, used the other team strictly just to create leverage against the 49ers. I think it was part of the whole situation, but it just wasn't the sole thing that's why that all went down. Let me report this person. All right. Well, thanks, Jerry. Brent, what do you think is going to happen with this new kickoff this year? I think it's going to be a real big experiment, man. Until it's truly in some live game action to where, a game is changed because of it, it's hard to really formulate an opinion. Will it be like kind of the same old, same old? No, I don't think that. I think it's going to be a more complex situation in terms of you're going to run some plays. You're going to have different sets and different players you're going to use in the back to return the ball. I think it's going to create a new layer to the game, per se. We'll see. I think it's going to be a good one, but fingers crossed that it is, but there's a big chance that it's not. Daniel Warman, hey Jason, since he is tired of Jamar Chase not practicing, I hope we sign T. Higgins and let Chase sit out 2 years. Bless you all. Yeah, Daniel, you guys are in a real situation out there, and I think Jamar Chase is in a little bit of a fantasy land. He's currently asking, $40 million per season? I don't see right now a wide receiver market in where any wide receiver gets $40 million per season. Justin Jefferson is better than Jamar Chase, and he doesn't make $40 million per season. I think there are better receivers than Jamar Chase out there that aren't making $40 million per season. Now, I think Jamar Chase is a top shelf, top notch talent, man. But when you get this weird money bullshit in your head, overvaluing yourself, I think sometimes you run yourself into a wall in terms of your career. And I think that you can derail once promising career all due to the money bullshit. So I think that there is a fair market value for Jamar Chase. It isn't $40 million. Now, it's probably $28 to $32 million, to be honest with you, per season. If you're going to sign Jamar Chase, that's probably where it's going to be. That would be fair. I think that would be a reasonable asking price if I were to Jamar Chase. But to ask $40 million when you are going to pay Burrow $1 gazillion and, you have immense or many other contracts throughout the 53-man roster, you can't afford a wide receiver at $40 million, one player. It's just not going to work, man. I'm on the prowl, fixing sound. Oh, well, thank you, Jerry. This is a new mic. It's a mini mic. It's better for what I do, just moving around. Now, when I get more complex and broaden my horizons a little bit, it'll and get into different softwares of when I'm broadcasting, I'm going to go ahead and really try to get some top shelf shit. But until then, hey, it is what it is. We got to hit that 5,000 subscriber mark. That's when I'm going to switch everything over. Kevin Schroyer, Metcalf, big, physical, and tremendous talent, just upset with his current situation. I'd give him what we offered for Ayuk before giving it to Ayuk. Wouldn't hurt my feelings none, Kevin. I wouldn't disagree with you. Nate H. Y. Let me report that guy. We're getting a lot of weirdos in here tonight. Russ, what's up, man? Christian... How do you feel about Dotson? I feel the Steelers could have definitely made a similar offer. I'm open to any guy that, is talented. Anybody that, is one of those top shelf type guys, a 1B type guy, a number 2 type guy. I'm into any of them. Now, I think there's certain body types and things that you're looking for in terms of Arthur Smith's system and what's going to fit best. I'm not sold on or needing to be anybody in particular in terms of which wide receiver they go after. I just think it needs to be not just another 4 or 5 depth piece type guy on the roster. I just think that you have enough of those, and you have some players that are like rookies with Roman Wilson, those types of players that you're going to want to groom. You just don't have room for more average. You need somebody that's more on the high end, and whomever that may be, cool. But I think that's just what you need to do. You need to have guys that are on that top tier. Brent, what position group are the Steelers fans not worried about? I think the only position group that I haven't heard tremendous worry about so far, at least offensively, we'll start there, offensively, is the tight end room. I think everybody's confident in the tight ends that the Steelers have. Now you have going into the last year of his contract on a lame duck deal, Pat Freiermuth. So he's in the final year of what he's got going on now. How does that translate into his game, in terms of leadership and all that kind of stuff? I've heard that in questions and presented to Mike Tomlin. So I don't think anything will be an issue, but I'm just saying, all those things are out there and maybe worries on that front. But I think everybody's pretty confident in the tight end room offensively. And I think everybody's pretty confident in the edge rushers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know they're concerned maybe a little bit about depth right now, but you have guys like the Marvin Leal that have been surprising guys here this offseason that haven't been in years past that could potentially fill some of that depth out there on the edge rush position, the outside linebacker position. So, fingers crossed there. That's probably one that I haven't heard great complaints about. Well, you haven't even seen TJ and Alex yet either. So, yeah. Jerry, I'm a Higgins fan for sure. I like T. Tyreek Hill's overrated in my opinion. I think he's a great ball player. He's just overrated in my eyes. I think he's fantastic. I just, I think he's a 25 to 30 million type guy. I don't think he's the top end guy. I think he's awesome, but yeah, not hugely overrated, but just a slightly. Russ, George and Danny. Everything Paul. Don't know what that means. Brent, Bell, and Brown are perfect examples of when to and when not to bet on yourself. Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah, he does. George T. And that, guys, too, is something that goes into every wide receiver's paycheck. Who's throwing you the damn football? You can't throw it to yourself. So that is going to be a huge variable inside of how much money you're going to probably earn, because you're not going to get the numbers that you need to earn those big dollars. And if you're Brandon Ayuk, I was curious as to wonder why you wanted to come play with Justin and Russ, because I don't know if they'll put up the monster numbers. But hey, it is what it is. I don't know. I think Russ will be just fine. I think Justin is just, people are way too high on him right now, man. If you turned on the All 22 tape, I did a show about this earlier, and I know people can argue to the death, man, and I can't even get in the comments because I don't want to argue about it or go back and forth today about it. I just had a long day. Yeah. People are a little bit too high on what Justin's doing right now, guys. If you really look at the 22 tape and you look at what he's doing, and I know the offensive line didn't give him a ton of time. I get that. But man, dude, when you hit that end of your drop back, that 3 to 5 step drop back, and you have guys that are NFL open and you don't drive the football down the field on a continual basis, and you're not seeing those things in year 4 of your development, I think there's an issue, man, and I think it's a big one, and I think it's one that you cannot overlook. And do yourself a favor. Many YouTube channels out there that'll put all 22 tape out there. They'll dissect it. They'll break it down, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about with him. There's several instances, many instances that it happens, and it's just not good, and he needs to fix it, and it's okay to have deficiencies, but that's a major one to have when you're going into year 4 of your NFL career. And I'll get comments, well, he's a playmaker. He can make a big play. Okay, but he's not going to be good enough on a consistent basis. And from the quarterback position, you need consistency. You have to have consistency. And if you don't have that, you're going to have a record like the Chicago Bears had last year. You're going to have a record that shows an inconsistent quarterback. It just is what it is. And I just think people should be careful of what they wish for, man. Now, if Justin has to play, God bless him. I hope he does well. And if he ends up being the guy, God bless him. I hope he does well. I want to see him succeed. But I'm not going to sit here and act like he doesn't have these monster deficiencies like people want me to think. And I just will not do that. I just cannot. All about the great content. Keep it coming. Thanks, Jerry. John Broadway, hey, man. Hope you're feeling better. And some guy on YouTube channel said in his view that Justin Fields is going to break the new kickoff ways by causing the return mayhem. Clickbait. Yeah, he's not going to return kicks, John. Don't click on that. It's these people, man. They'll do anything to get you guys to click on shit. And sadly, everybody does. It's like if it sounds far-fetched, it is far-fetched, bro. It is far-fetched. Thanks, Brent. Roberta, probably Ravens fan. Probably Roberta. Russ, I hate Nate, Mike, Brent, and John. Hi. I'm sorry. Russ says, hi, Nate, Mike, Brent, and John Broadway, and Roberta. Sorry, man. I was reading it like so fast. I was like, what the hell? Sorry, brother. Roberta Campbell, or maybe any AFC North fans. Yeah, no doubt. Brent, Roberta, they're too slow to be Ravens fans, maybe Raiders. John Broadway, and yeah, tossing the ball around in a kickoff return is going to see different ways to return. I get it, man. I get it. And maybe one day you'll see all this, but Justin Fields will not be back there returning kicks. I can say that for sure and be really confident about saying it. Any QBs in the next year's draft Pitt should be looking at? I like Shedeur Sanders, and everybody might argue about that and not be high on that like I am, but I think Shedeur Sanders is the real deal, and I hope he is. I hope I'm right. because I really like him. I just think he's a complete package as a quarterback. I think he's a throw downfield first type guy. I think he has athleticism. I think he has a strong arm. I think he has intelligence. I just think he's the real deal. And we'll see if that translates to the NFL level, but he got NFL DNA inside of him, so I'll give him a little bit higher chance than maybe most. Hi, Christian. I'm open to see on the step in. Yeah, man, they got to. What's up with this? I'm going to get back to the chat. What's up, Rubber Road? If a move isn't made for another wide receiver, Muth will get an extension prior to the start of the regular season. Yeah, possibly him and maybe somebody else. You never know. But that could probably be possibly be something there. No doubt about it. Don't get me started on Dolphins players. Yeah, me either. But did you guys hear what Alex Boone and the Oline Committee podcast, that's his podcast. I didn't even know it existed until today. But this guy went out there and said that Artie Smith needs to wake the F up. And I'm wondering what you guys think. Is that a little bit of harsh criticism? Is it a little bit over the top? What do you guys think about it? They're talking probably more along the lines of the offensive line play and things of that nature, but I'm not sure I'm sold on Arthur Smith being a dud already. I just don't think that they're showing a lot of what they can do, and I appreciate that. And I don't give a shit if they lose all 3 games in the preseason. I could care less. I just need to see a little bit of growth from time to time. I'd like to see maybe a scoring drive here from time to time. Just something to show me that they're on the right track. That's all I really care about from the preseason game. I don't care, though, if they lose. I don't care if they win. It makes zero difference to me in any way, shape, or form. I just need to see solid foundational pieces being laid and the building blocks being put in place in order to be successful in the regular season. But what do you guys think about that harsh criticism about Artie Smith? Brent, don't get me started on the Dolphins. Jerry, true. I believe QB should be able to throw the football. Yeah, and that's Justin's problem, dude. He's not driving the football down the field, and when he does, it's, first read. And you can't live like that inside of the NFL, and his record shows why you can't. You cannot just be a 1-read quarterback, not even a 2-read quarterback in the NFL level. You have to be able to get through your progression. These plays are designed for a reason. You have to understand them. You have to be able to understand the defense, and it's okay to admit that the Steelers picked up somebody that truly lacks in those areas. You look at Kenny Pickett's performance. He did the same damn thing. Same damn thing last year. And a little bit of the year before, he would have a play here or there where he got lucky. And the first read would be there. And it would be a splash play. And it would work. And that's just what you're going to get this from Justin. The only difference is Justin can run the football a little bit. But that ain't going to bail you out of every situation either, man. It's just not. Would he be better than Kenny? I'll say yes. But will he be enough? No, he's not. He's not a good enough quarterback right now. And that's okay. Hopefully he gets into that rhythm and is able to start anticipating and start being able to throw these wide receivers open and understand what NFL open is and understand his reads and understand his progression and get that vision, man, and learn how to throw the damn football when you hit that your back of your drop. You have to be able to put your foot in the ground and drive the football down a damn field, period. There were so many open guys. There was one play, guys, just off the top of my head, Connor Hayward was in the game, and he was so damn NFL open. I mean, it was sickening. It was disgusting to see. And Justin did have time to throw the ball. He also had 2 other players on that same play that were wide open, considering the play was designed correctly. That was a Justin problem. The linebackers dropped in down into the box a little bit farther. They bit on the play fake. Justin went back, did his drop. The safeties and the defensive backs dropped back, creating a void into the middle of the field. All the routes were zooming in there. They were open. I mean, it was a travesty. Robert Road, I'd be more comfortable with Kyle Allen starting if Ruff's got injured than starting Fields. Yeah, at this point, I probably would be too. At least Kyle probably got some field vision and can throw the football and facilitate it to his playmakers. John Broadway, it's not that I believe that lookalike Joe Burrow guy was talking out of his arse. He looked like Eminem this year. Roberta Campbell, I was talking about the trolls tonight. Yeah, me too. They're crazy. Jerry Cherry Band, sweet. He is ready for prime time. I like prime, big prime time. I want Shador. I do. I just like him. I don't know why. Just sometimes I get on a player and I like him, and I could be dead wrong about Shador, and he could get to the NFL and have the same issues that I'm talking about, like Justin has. Be a one read type guy and not be able to do the things effectively. So maybe he, I just feel like he'd be worth a chance for me anyway. If the Steelers fan got to pick a retired player to be a position coach, who would it be? Oh, Debo. That's what it would be. You hear it all the time. No, 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 no. Hold up. Hold the phone. I don't know. It's like soon as Ben Roethlisberger starts his yearly, 16 podcasts that he does during the NFL season, I get so annoyed with we need Big Ben as the offensive coordinator. Like, come on, dude. Like, get a life. We need Big Ben as the offensive coordinator. You hear it all the time. That's all you'll hear when he comes on his podcast. That is, go in the chat there, and that's all people will be kissing his ass. Ben, when are you coming back to be the offensive coordinator? We need you, 7. Like, shut up, dude. Oh, just some people. Just some people. Well, we'll get what we have coming and wait for 2025 quarterback draft class. Yeah, that's about where we're at now. What's up, Tom Ford? CJ Stroud is one bad dude. That should be the talent we're looking for. Yeah, CJ Stroud proved me way wrong. I didn't think he was going to be as effective. I thought he'd be okay, but I had no idea that he'd be that good, and I thought that he performed at an extremely high level. Let's see if he can repeat that performance. Let's see if he's just not a one-hit wonder. I'm curious to see that, but I think that he played extremely well, lights out, and was one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL last year, if you ask me. And if I had to go into a game with somebody, Russ or CJ Stroud, I'm picking CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud or Justin, I'm picking CJ Stroud. We need you to do opening song for our show here. Your music is the bomb. No, you have good music, Jerry? I don't even know what you have. Buddy, I have to check you out. I never listened before, but I will go check you out, though, for sure. I agree with Debo. Big Ben, let's draw a play in the dirt. Big Ben did improv, guys, and that was what's special about Ben was his escapability. But yes, you probably are saying to yourself, well, Justin Fields can run and he can scramble around and he can do those things. He's not doing that. Ben wasn't looking to run the football. Ben was looking just to extend the play and allow his receivers to work open and be able to throw the ball down the field. He wasn't looking to take off and run. Justin, when he's moving, he's looking to run the football and he's looking to take off. That's what he's looking to do. And I think that hinders him in a way, because I think that hinders him in his head to where it's holding him back, because he's seeing that first read and he's so anxious to go, so anxious to just take off and use those legs and that athleticism that he's just not getting through the progressions. He's not understanding how to throw people open, and he's not allowing things to progress. That's just where I think he is. Ben was just a different animal with that. I think Burrow looks like more like Billy Idol. That's what I called it. Money. Oh, okay. He looks so goofy. Tom Ford, I'm excited. I have 2 fantasy football drafts this weekend. I'm thinking if I draft Burrow as my quarterback, I'll change my team name to Will the Slim Shady, please. There you go. Robert Road, I don't think you were wrong about Shador Sanders. He played behind one of the worst offensive lines in all of college football last year and still put up huge numbers. Yeah, I just feel like he has it, man. I really do. Now, again, yeah, we could be whiffing on that one, Robert, but you're right. He did put up monster numbers, and he had horrible offensive line in front of him. Very undersized, not very fast, just a poor offensive line. Ben was special, never lost the magic factor. Yeah, he didn't lose the magic factor, but he lost the big one, and that was the consistency factor. He also lost the ability to push the ball down the field at the rate we'd have liked him to. He was more of the check down guy, didn't want to get hit, didn't want to do all those things that he did back in the day, which I don't blame the guy, man. He got beat up, bro. I put no blame at Ben's feet for that, and he deserved to be able to finish out his career as a Steeler for as long as he kind of wanted to. And I know that some people were like, get him out of there. There were some people that said, keep him, do whatever. But I think he just needed to kind of finish it out, and whatever the outcome was, the outcome was. But Ben never lost that special factor, no, but he did lose that consistency, and that's what I talk about with players like Justin Fields, not having that consistency, and it really hurts an offense, man. You can't have a guy out there hitting checkdowns all day. You can't have a guy out there that can't drive the ball down the field on a consistent basis, and you can't have a guy that has no field vision being out there. Jerry Cherry Band. I watched Colorado because of Prime, and I enjoyed watching the team, like the team when we used to draft them in the 90s. Yeah, you look at Cordell Stewart, Colorado Buffalo legend, man. So, yeah, you look at guys from there. There's several other players, I believe, that's been out of Colorado, become Steelers, you know. And they definitely had really good teams in the 90s. And, I like to watch them last year, too. John Broadway Bradshaw was known for, calling his own play by seeing what he was playing against and changing with certain matchups. It takes knowing all the factors. Absolutely. I got to say this, too. Even with our young football team, man, I want our little quarterback to start making decisions. And I know it can be frustrating for little kids, you know, and they're not going to be able to do it crazy good. But I try to encourage him to go through the reads, man. Try to start seeing that now at a very young age, because I think it is a travesty and a disservice to young youth football players at the quarterback position to sit there and tell them, this is your read, this is where you're going to throw the ball, you're going to hit it now. Let them learn. That's not what you're going to want them to do later in their career. That's not what you're going to want them to do when they get farther. Like, literally, let them start to learn the process. Yeah, there's going to be plays you tell them, look, man, this is a screenplay. Throw the damn screen. Hey, this is, you got one route on this one, two routes on this one. It's a quick one. Hit that. Yeah, I get that. But give them some plays in order to start getting that vision, man. And I think you don't see that a lot sometimes. Even in college, they're just like, look, this is where you're throwing it. Throw the damn ball. So, yeah, it is what it is. George T, Chad Brown, Charles Johnson, Cordell. Yeah, man, several. John Broadway, don't forget Mike Waymether, George T, Brent. I'm on the fence about Stroud, fellas. Call me whatever you want. But struggled against bad teams. Had a coast of a schedule, and the Colts were heading to playoffs until Minshew threw a really bad pass. I just thought if I took his overall performance, I thought he was one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Now, yes, I could probably agree with you about being on the fence, because I would want to see a repeat. And yeah, he did make his rookie mistakes, no doubt about it, but that was to be expected. I just didn't expect him to be a rookie and be that good. You know what I mean? It's usually a little bit more tough sledding for rookies. I thought he was better than players like Trevor Lawrence and shit like that. So, yeah, it is what it is. We'll see if he can do it again, Brent. Never know. Robert Road, the Steelers would need to trade up to have any shot at getting Shador. He will likely be a top 10 pick and possibly number 1 overall pick. Yeah, no doubt. We don't know, though. The Steelers could fall flat on their face this year, guys. They could be picking up there. We don't know. But yeah, probably more than likely they would have to trade up to get him, no doubt. I hope they would have to. Merriweather was awesome. Hated losing him to the Vikes. Joel Steed and Dion Figures. Yeah, man, lots of them. All right, guys, make sure you're hitting the shit out of that like button here on Steel City Live as we approach about the 35-minute mark, man. We're going to start doing about 45-minute shows. The hour's just a little bit too long. So I'm going to try to keep them about 45 minutes. So every night we're going to do that. Also, Danny George, I'm going to be getting up with you. It's probably going to be sometime next week. We'll figure something out here once my schedule loosens up a little bit. I got to figure out some things here. So I'll be getting with you, brother. Sorry. All right, I'm caught up on the chat. So any comments, questions, and concerns you guys want to end up with on the night here, make sure you guys put those in there. Any type of news you want to talk about, anything that's going on that you see. Even Patrick Queen, guys, is out there saying, hey, slow your roll, pump the brakes, calm it down. Things might get a little bit better here. This isn't the team that hopefully you're going to see in the regular season. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt until I don't. Until the regular season comes and they fall flat on their face. Then we can say, like, yeah, you're looking the same. But I will say this, guys. Mike Tomlin's preseason record being poor is a good sign. It's a good sign. It's a very good sign. Definitely so. Oh, I don't know, man. It'd be individual teams, And honestly, too, Brent, I don't put a lot of stock into the preseason for anybody. Nothing is like big and crazy to me. Nothing is like over the top exciting or surprising to me. I'd say for the Steelers, the person I think has performed maybe a little bit more than maybe expected, and that's maybe DeMarvin Leal. He has. Now, he went through with shorts and a helmet. He was starting to, show some things, and then he had a little bit of a period during the training camp period of practices to where I really thought that I wasn't super psyched. I wasn't getting on board with it. With his year 3 transition into, a little bit lighter weight. I wasn't getting on board with what he was putting down. But as the games have went on here, I'm starting to think that maybe he has exceeded expectations a little bit, or maybe actually just started to fulfill some of the expectations that maybe he once didn't. So, yeah, DeMarvin Leal would probably be for the Steelers for me. I'm not going to go out and talk about any other team with surprises for the fan base because I don't watch enough preseason football to be really confident about talking about anybody else. But for the Steelers, that's probably who I'd say. Danny George, hope Nick Herbig gets 2 sacks this weekend. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I like Nick. Nick's going to be good. Jerry Cherry Band, the Bears QB looking good. Yeah, I mean, I think he's still going to be the most monumental bust in quite some time for, in the list of a long line, actually, for the Bears. But I think so. I just don't like that kid's attitude. I think he has a shitty attitude. I truly do. And, yeah, he may bullshit people or whatever, and try to say the right things, but when I've watched some of his interviews, especially the one he did on the Pivot podcast, it was absolutely uncomfortable. It was odd. He gave off those creep vibes. I just don't like that dude. There's something about him. I think he's going to fall flat on his face, and I think when there's real game plan put against him, I think his outcome, his play won't be as great as we're seeing in the preseason. That's why I don't put too much stock into it. If you look at Kenny Pickett's performance last year in the preseason, you would have probably said that he would have been in the running for NFL MVP. 5 drives, 5 touchdowns, looked amazing, drove the ball down the field, did what he was supposed to do, all against basic vanilla defenses. Got inside of the regular season and was a 13 for 13 guys over 13 against 13 guy over 2 seasons, 13 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, and that just don't go. That just don't work. And I think you're going to maybe see something similar with Caleb Williams. I may be wrong. I've been wrong before, but that's just my thing. I worked in Boulder during part-time of when the Steelers kept drafting Colorado players. The local paper started calling them the Colorado Steelers and the Pittsburgh Buffalo. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. I got to come see Colorado. I've only flown in there to the airports and then, I've never like got to get out there and like actually see Colorado. I really need to. I'd really be pumped to do that. John Broadway, thank you, Jason. Good night, and an early morning tomorrow. Later, Jens. Good Steelers. See you, John. Have a good night, buddy. I disagree to some contending teams. Preseason doesn't matter as much, but the Steelers, it means everything, especially when nobody on the offense is excelling. I don't know. I still can't put too much stock into it. I understand what you're saying, definitely. You're probably thinking, more of the contenders, the people, on paper, teams that have proven it in the last couple years to be really, really good. Yes, it does not matter one bit. But I just still feel like preseason wins, losses don't matter. I would just really like to see a drive here and there. I would like to see a little continuity along the offensive line here and there. And I just really like to see the fundamentals being worked on in terms of the foundational pieces being laid. Just see some small successes. Yes, I think that does matter. But I think it's going to really culminate here in preseason game 3, and we're going to get to really give a true opinion on what we think this 2024 Steeler team is going to be all about. And I think you'll see maybe a little bit different team here in preseason game 3, hopefully. I'm not sure you're talking about. Oh, thank you, D. Appreciate it. They might have. Hey, news from Tennessee. According to Ramon Foster, former Pittsburgh Steelers undrafted rookie that came in and started for many years, 11 years, 12 years, something like that. Won, lots of games with the Steelers. Is now down there in Hendersonville, Tennessee, at his hometown, covers the Titans, says that Mason Rudolph looks really good, but sorry, guys, he's not a Pittsburgh Steeler this year, so. Yeah, that's okay. I got you, Donald. I mean, I agree with you too, and I just, there's just a fine line with it. You know what I mean, brother? May as well be Eastern Kansas. The mountains to me are the true Colorado. Yeah, I want to be up in the mountain. I want to go like skiing. I want to just see the mountains, man. That's where I'd like to be. One of these QBs needs to win the job in Detroit. Yeah, and that's from Jerry. I don't think there's any job to win. I think it's already been won. I don't think there's any competition. Mike Tomlin has basically said there isn't. But I just don't think there's any competition. I think it's Russell Wilson week 1. There is no Justin Fields win the job, Kyle Allen win the job. Nobody's going to be able to win the job. It's Russell Wilson's job. Rob Lightfoot, I'm sold on Russ. Every time I see him in an interview, he is always saying Super Bowl. I believe he believes that he can. We've got the defense. I'm still not sold on the O-line. Yeah, I'm going to believe in Russ until he gives me a reason in the regular season not to. D says the problem with Russ is that he's old and he's aged like fine milk. Bouncing Broderick around is really hurting him. Donald, I would say that it does hurt him in my eyes. I would say that. But Broderick has said it doesn't. Now, is that Broderick just saying the right things? You know what I mean? Just to kind of keep it out of the media, since he's probably in Mike Tomlin's doghouse for talking about his elbow injury a little bit too much to the media. Is that the case? I don't know. But Broderick Jones, in my eyes, I think is being hurt by that. But Broderick says no, it doesn't affect him. So it's just one of those things, we truly don't know. You know what I mean? Thank you, Jerry. Why do people put like ads on my shit? If you're gonna put ads on in my chat, you got to pay the piper, baby. You got to pay the bucks. I'm just playing. I don't care, but don't put ads in my shit. I hate that. All right, guys, we're going to start wrapping it up. Again, I appreciate everybody for coming through. We're almost at that 45-minute mark. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. It's very easy. It's free. It's cool to do for your creators. What's up, Miss Pittsburgh? How are you? Thanks, Donald. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you being here. Yeah. Oh, is somebody doing it, Jerry? Is somebody putting it in there, though? Is it like an actual real viewer putting him in there and just spamming the shit out of it? Or is it like a bot? You know what I mean? That's what I wonder. That's what I wonder with it. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow with the morning upload. More than likely, I would say. We'll see how that all goes, but I would say we will for sure have our Friday night show. So make sure you are tuned in live tomorrow night. We'll try to go a little bit earlier than 8:15. So make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell, and you'll be alerted to when the show goes live. And come and join the conversation and talk NFL, talk Steelers, and have a good time and have your voices heard. But until tomorrow, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace. Thanks, guys.